Hello everyone, it's Turin here, and today guys, I'm here with another Total War Warhammer live battlecast. In this game we are going to play the Warriors of Chaos, and we're going to be facing off against the mighty Greenskins. So let's go ahead and get Big Papa Kolek. I like him quite a bit, and he really shines against factions that have a somewhat weak missile presence. Granted, the Greenskins have a decent one with the Rusty Arrows and all that kind of fun stuff, but still, I think he's a very good pick here. So we're going to go ahead and get him, and on top of that, we're going to get a Death Sorcerer, so we're going to go ahead and get the Spirit Leech as well as the Fate of Buna, both of which are very, very strong. So let's get a Scroll of Power and a Scroll of Shielding. Let's just give him a try. I mean, Scroll of Shielding can be quite strong. You're using it on Kolek when he's being focused down. So for the front line, we probably want to get some Chaos Warriors with great weapons, just because Black Orcs are somewhat of an intuitive pick against Chaos. So I think having them, at least to stand and trade, should do fine. So let's get some Aspiring Champions as well, which are very good against lightly armored units in general. So if he goes with like Nasty Skulkers or anything. Granted, Nasty Skulkers trade pretty well with armor, so still not a great situation. So we're going to go ahead and get some Dragon Ogres, who I really, really like in this matchup. Like if he gets the Arachnoid Queen, it gives us a pretty solid little counter answer there. And do I just want to get like another group of Forsaken? I feel like that wouldn't be a bad choice. I could get some Marauders, just kind of like plug up the flanks, but honestly, like everything the Greenskins has just like beats the brakes off Marauders. So it's a bit of a tricky one. So let's actually get some Hounds. We'll just get some standard. Do we want to get Trolls or something? I think we get another group of Poison Hounds. Can we afford that? Oh no, we got 7 seconds. So, okay, so we're going to get regular Chaos Hounds to pressure the Goblins. We'll get some Marauders just as like a backline filler. So if we're just like desperate and we have nothing else to throw his way, we'll just be like, all right, to the dogs with you. So we do have these guys. We're going to give it a try and hope for the best. So guys, as far as my guides that I've been talking about doing, I've made a decision. So I'm going to make a Chaos guide first. So Chaos is one of the only factions it's interesting. Like, I just been playing Beastmen and Chaos, and that's pretty much it. Like when I've been getting a ladder, like 80% of my games are those two factions. So those will probably be my first guides. I'm just like not very good with. I mean, I'm okay, like good. Granted, I can hang with decent players with the other factions, but I'm just like I feel competent with Chaos. It's kind of weird, even though they're like probably arguably the worst faction. So I don't know. Yeah, I just like the way they play. I guess I just know how their troops work for the most part, but still, guys. So I'll be doing a Chaos guide first. And after that, probably do something with the Dwarves eventually. Granted, you know, Total War Warhammer 2 is going to be out before we know it. So, I mean, I might be a little I might be a little late on the guides, but, you know, at the very least, at least all the factions are, like, finished. So, you know, the guide that I'll give you now will, you know, be pertinent all the way up until Total Warhammer 2. Whereas, you know, that was always my hesitation because they were just releasing constant DLC. So I was like, why am I going to make a guide for these guys when they're just going to like change them, you know, in the next patch, or there's going to be pretty drastic changes, and then that guide will be completely like outdated and useless. So, well, not completely, but still, I mean, there's been pretty substantial changes to Chaos, like getting Aspiring Champions and stat buffs here and there that really change up the metagame and what works. Like, I remember nobody used Dragon Ogres at first, or in Chaos Knights for that example. People used to just think they were overpriced. Granted, they are a little pricey, but still, they do have a niche now. So, again, it is what it is. Do have the mighty Fate of Buna. Great against Greenskins. Greenskins don't have, like, much healing, so, you know, being able to take advantage of that and do any big burst damage is great. So, you know, unlike facing off against Bretonnia and these other factions, they do have healing, so they can really counteract, like, your Spirit Leeches and things like that, so... And Forsaken are great, though. These guys are so cool. I mean, what infantry unit has an equivocal amount of weapon strength? I'm trying to like think if there's anything like non-monstrous unit that has that much weapon strength. It's for that cost. It's so much. So okay, Savage Orcs, decent pick. Granted, you know, we're gonna do fine. So the reason I like this build is because like Chaos Warriors are gonna do pretty good against Savage Orcs. Like the 100 armor is really, really hard for them to get through. Granted, they don't take a ton of damage, so. Dragon Ogres are also good against Orc Boars because, you know, they don't have armor, so the armor piercing of the Orc Boars isn't going to be like that powerful. And, you know, on top, oh, did we accidentally put these guys in a different group? Looks like he has some Squig herds. I like the Squigs against the Chaos. I think that's a great pick. So what we want to do is try and intercept the Squigs with the Forsaken, who rip them to shreds. It's just pure brutality. We want to get the Dragon Ogres on top of that Giant, like ASAP. That's going to be really big. And Hounds are also very good for intercepting Squigs. Big Papa Kolek too. We don't want him taking Giant hits, but oh man, double Giant. So yeah, Giants are, you know, one of the best ways to deal with Chaos, to be honest. Like because we don't have like great anti-large or like missiles or anything like that. So it's funny, I'm like saying we as if I'm one of them, but yeah, we'll be good, and we can honestly just throw these Marauders in on one of these Squig herds and just kind of like intercept them, and that should be pretty good. So Fate of Buna. So let's look for some good Fate of Buna targets. We have Savage Orc Biggins, which are a great target. So he has a bunch of Goblin Big Bosses. He also has the Night Goblin War Boss. So typically when people go with like double Giant builds, they're gonna have like a very cheap kind of core here. So we're gonna go ahead and use this on the Savage Orc Biggins here. We do have some Squig herds coming around the side. They hear the train coming around the bend. Little Johnny Cash action. So we use the Fate of Buna there, which is going to be really strong. You guys will see. Because these guys just have physical resist. They don't have any like inherent buffs against like magic or anything like that. So let's go ahead and get these Hounds and kind of go and intercept these Squigs. And then we'll pull the Forsaken and engage them as well. So And these Marauders we want to use to kind of just fodder up those squigs here real quick. So good. So everything's going relatively to code. Let's get these guys here, just ready to intercept those Giants. We're going to have a bit of a cockfight just across the entire front line, it looks like. So we're going to charge these guys here. We're going to charge these guys here as well. And let's get just everyone kind of going across the front line. We'll get these Aspiring Champions in here, these guys in here. And yeah, we do need to get that answer. So let's charge those guys in there and have the Forsaken kind of work on them. Kolek, we want to like go clip the wings. That's going to be like our biggest strength here. So good. So we'll get those guys helping as well. And good. So yeah, you don't want Kolek like in that big mash in the front. So it looks like he's coming in pretty hot with his Giant. That one will be relatively isolated. So let's use these Aspiring Champions to help out in the front. And where's our Sorcerer Lord? We don't want him to, you know, get in too much trouble here. So good. So we're able to punish the Squig Herd. So we used the Hounds initially and did some pretty good work for us there. Kolek, we just used to clip the wings. We don't want him like in the central fight. It's a little bit dicey. So let's go ahead and pop Lord of the Storm right here. And for some reason, you know, that happens a lot to me in this game. Like abilities that you like try and click, it doesn't seem to work. So we're going to cast that right here and get those guys, and we're able to just completely dumpster that flank over there. So the Marauders actually came in pretty well. I mean, they took the brunt of those Squigs and, you know, did their job. And nice little Lord of the Storm there is doing pretty good for us. And the Dragon Ogres are working on this Giant. So they do have an anti-large bonus, which is pretty good. We do get these Hounds up and around. So let's use them to chase down the routing Squigs. Great. So let's kind of collapse everything and just kind of work down the flank right now. That's what I really like to do with Kolek, just like clip the flank and then push down. And the Chaos Warriors seem to be holding up pretty well considering. So, oh, we catch his Night Goblin Shaman here? That's pretty good. So, Kolek, we definitely want to use him to go after like some of these heroic units and take advantage of his speed. We do have another Fate of Buna, so I don't know if there's like any great targets right here, to be honest. I think everything's like pretty tattered for my opponent except for his big monsters. So we're going to start Spirit Leeching this Giant and just kind of working on it a little bit. It's going to be a big existential threat for us. I wouldn't say existential per se, but good. So we get a nice little Womp in there, but as soon as that Giant comes, we got to run. Like, we don't want to let Kolek take any free beatings. We want to get like the Forsaken and those other units really just kind of collapsing here. So let's get these guys up around the back, these guys up around the back as well. We do have a Spirit Leech, so we could use a Scroll of Power. You know, let's use the Scroll of Power. Oh no, that was shouldn't it have like reset that ability? I don't even know. I got to use the Scroll of Power more often. So our Hounds are, let's actually get on this Giant right here and see if we can do a little bit of something. Kolek should be able to kind of beat the brakes off him a little bit, and let's get these Marauders as well and have them help out. But yeah, it sucks trading Kolek in that respect, but my opponent, the bounce of power is still even, though it looks like, you know, very heavily one-sided. It's really not, guys. So, oh, that was the Scroll of Shielding I was clicking. So we're going to put it on Kolek right now to give him some damage resistance. Let's also use Spirit Leech to see if we can, like, crack this Giant down really quickly here. And our Dragon Ogres are still fighting the good fight, working on this Giant, and their anti-large is really, really solid. So that's what sets them apart from Chaos Knights, is they do have that kind of a bonus there. So good stuff so far. Kolek's doing good, but again, we don't want to like let our opponent focus fire us. That's going to be really, really important. So let's pop a Scroll of Power, get another Spirit Leech going, and just pop that on that Giant. So good. So we're going to kind of push in here with everything. We have some Marauders coming back as well. We can use them to intercept those Orc Boars. And I think it's going pretty well. You can see he's like really, really chasing heavily here. So this is fine. So we can actually turn and fight here and just you know, bring some support troops. And Kolek, yeah, I'm happy. He can fight 2 Goblin big bosses all day. Let's also pull the Sorcerer Lord to help out. Use that Arcane Conduit to try and help us get one more Spirit Leech. Intercept there. And these Aspiring Champions, you guys need to get in there and do some work. Don't be lazy. So this is great. Kolek is just going to annihilate these Goblins. So, okay, so he shatters one. Let's go ahead and turn and fight on the other one. Just kind of keep pushing in here on this Giant. And, yeah, so what do we got going on here? So we have another Spirit Leech coming up. 1 per 8, but that is with Arcane Conduit ticking. So I don't know if it's going to, like, stay that way. But, okay, so these Giants are in here working on these guys. We do have these Forsaken. And, man, Forsaken are just so good. 70, only 33 kills. Granted, you know, they've been doing a ton of DPS to these Giants because Giants are lightly armored. So, great. We're able to isolate the Goblin big bosses. Let's come in here with Big Papa. We do have Lord of the Storm. Let's pop that right there because my opponent looks like he's doing a little bit of a party train coming in there. So check this out. This is going to be great. So this guy's just going to get roasted. Oh, yeah, that feels good. So this Giant's going to go down to the Wrath of the Sun Eater. We can turn to fight there, and he's able to kind of kill our auxiliary forces here, but for the most part, you know, it's not a big deal. So we do get some troops coming back. Let's get those Hounds intercepting here. And let's see, do we have anything else kind of out in the Shadow Realm? It looks like we do have some Hounds, so let's send those on the Squigs. And good, so 1 Giant down. Let's go ahead and turn and fight. And do we want to work on the Lord? The Lord is going to just get wrecked by Kolek, like incredibly hard. So let's keep doing that, fighting the good fight. And do we have it looks like we do have the standard die, so good. But, you know, regardless, a lot of our troops are getting pretty beat up here, and he does have some guys coming back, so it's getting a little bit scarier. So we're going to run Kolek back, kind of try and reform ranks a little bit, and just keep these Giants kind of working on his Giant. You got to make sure they're targeting the correct target from time to time, so we pull back and then we re-engage, because that'll, like, pull us out of range of the Giant and everything. So let's make sure to pull those troops in. Come on, get a nice Womp in there, Kolek. You can do it, brother. But the Savage Orc Biggins are actually pretty scary, so Bounce of Power shifting back in my opponent's favor a little bit. So we might need to regroup here, but that hit on his Lord is going to be good. So 1 or 2 more, you know, solid attacks like that, and we should be able to get a bit of a routing issue for my opponent. And I think, oh, he's getting a really good terror out right now. Oh, that's what it is. Come on, Kolek, get that auto attack, brother. You can do it. So we're actually going to Spirit Leech this Lord just to make sure that he actually like dies. So good. So let's pull this guy back. Let's kind of chase him with Kolek, then run over here and just regroup to the best of our abilities. So okay, so we have some troops here. Let's get them fighting here. Kolek, we're able to kind of rout off his Lord, which is good. And yeah, he does die to that Spirit Leech. So right now we need to come like down and around. So what we need to do here is just kind of like snipe out the giant. That's going to be really, really important here. So do we have any hounds or anything to like help out? So where are our troops at? Okay, so we have some reinforcing troops over here. So we don't want to let Kolek get isolated. So let's pull everything over here. And that terror route, man, that was literally, you know, no pun intended, but very savage. Like a lot of our lines started to crumble there because I think a lot of the Savage Orc Biggins got like back involved and were really, you know, just doing some work against us. So good. So let's get these guys going here. Let's keep Kolek, you know, a little bit safe until his troops are engaged. We do have the Dragon Ogres here who should be able to kind of help clean up shop here. They'll be good at kind of dealing with those squigs. So well played by my opponent coming back in the fourth quarter like that. So what does he have? He has the giant. Oh, and there's a bunch of routing troops here. So this is great. So what we do is we pull these guys here. We use these hounds to go like chase down those routing Savage Orc Biggins who there's a ton of them left, guys. So go. We gotta juke them out and let's go after that injured group there. We do have the Dragon Ogres and our forces are finally starting to like regroup here, which is gonna be really nice. So let's go ahead and just run these guys down into the giant here. See if we can womp on these guys a little bit. And okay, we're able to rout those guys. Let's push on the giant here. So well played. That was almost pretty scary there. Like he almost came back. So well played to my opponent. Let's go ahead and take a look at the breakdown. I like his build. Granted, this has kind of been like a really meta thing with orcs. You use Savage Orcs and then you mix in squigs in the back, so you get your AP and high low armor DPS with the Savage Orcs. Also a bit of anti-large against like, I think when they came back in, they really started to beat up Kolek and my Dragon Ogres, which was cool. I like the double giant pick, definitely can't complain. So yeah, it was just an awesome build by my opponent. It was a good match, very, very close. So again, well played to my opponent, see ya. Look forward to seeing ya again on ladder. And thanks again for watching, guys. Hope you all have an excellent night. Take care.